I'm Deanna.
I'm Amanda, and we are the Maladroit Mamas.
Life for us is momming, home educating, and quarantining our kids' stuffed animals when they come home with a case of head lice, and that is both a blessing and a curse.
We want you to embrace the blurst life.
So when you start your day, do you operate on a schedule? Do you start at a particular time? Or is it a different time every day? Or how does that work for you?
I'm always feeling, except for this year because COVID, but usually I'm feeling really pumped and excited about the upcoming school year.
Yeah.
And I get into this like overachiever mode, and I'm like, oh, everyone's gonna have a schedule. We're all gonna do things on a schedule. It's gonna be beautiful, and it's gonna be organized, and it's gonna be, awesome or whatever. However, 4-year-olds don't like to stick to those kinds of schedules. She doesn't care that I have to do math with Naomi from, 10 to 10:30. Mm-hmm. If she needs me to come wipe her butt or, whatever.
Play dolls or,
right.
yeah.
Like I can't, it doesn't work. I know for some people, especially type A people, my husband's a type A person. He thrives on organization and scheduling. I am the polar opposite, and it drives him crazy. But I'm really good at what I am good at is I do bullet journaling when I remember to. When I am faithful to the bullet journal, it is faithful to me, and I get stuff done. But I do better with just making a list of the things that I want to accomplish that day. Rather than trying to like figure out what time of day I'm going to fit it in. Mm-hmm. Because again, like I have so many children, and my older ones are getting to the point now where I can say, listen, I can only give you this hour of my day, so get whatever schoolwork you can on your own done, and save any questions you have for me for 2 to 3. And then I will sit down with you and we will review anything that you need help with at that point. So since they're old enough now that they can do that, that's making things a little bit easier. But with the younger ones, so no, I don't. To answer the question, I've tried many times to have a set schedule, but I'm not successful with that. But I don't know if it's a personality thing or I don't really know how to answer that question. And I am not a morning person, so I like that I can get up at 8 or 9 and sit around and drink coffee for an hour before I have to, do a science experiment or parse sentences in Latin or whatever.
Yeah. I would say I would agree. I mean, like we've talked a lot about how we're similar, and so I'm not a morning person either. So I would say if we get started by 10, we're doing pretty good. It used to be like with my daughter, we would start much earlier, but she's more type A. And she would keep me like, I think she would keep me more on my toes. My son is more like me. So that can be a bad thing, I think. But I do understand him more. In fact, I find myself explaining my son to my husband more often because I understand him and he doesn't as much, even though like they're both males. He doesn't understand him like I do. Mm-hmm. But we don't stick to, I mean, I have a planner that I try to schedule like what we're going to do, but I find that I shift a lot. Mm-hmm. I do have a bullet journal, but my thing is that I'll make a list of things I want to accomplish, and then I immediately rebel against my list because I don't like being told what to do. Even if I'm telling myself, I still don't like to be told what to do. So even if I'm telling myself what to do, I don't like to do it.
Our friend Carla always says, who you won't see on this side of the camera, but she's here on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
She says all the time that homeschoolers are rebellious by nature.
Yeah.
It's just our nature.
Yeah.
We don't, that's how I ended up choosing to home educate, is that you don't tell me, I tell you.
Yeah.
It was that
Exactly.
mentality, that attitude.
I think that's I do. I think it comes out in different ways in different people. But I do think underlying all of it, there is a rebellious streak.
For sure, yeah.
So I think following a standard school schedule is just not in any. I think it's ingrained in us because we were educated in that system, but to rebel against that is something that we all just want to do. And when you finally free yourself from that, it
Yes.
feels very good.
There's so much freedom
There's
in
so
home
much
educating.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would say
awesome.
yeah, there is so much freedom in it. It's just to throw that.
In our
Out the
CC
window.
community this year, we have a new family, and the mom works full time, and she asked me, she said, how do I do this? Like, is this possible for me to do and work full time? And her daughter is a little bit older. I realize this is not the case for everybody, but she has grandparents nearby who can help, and dad can help some, but they just do school. You just have to do school with whatever works for you. You work
Yeah.
around your own schedule, and like I said, there's so much freedom in that.
Yeah.
I mean that was the catalyst. The freedom of schedule was the catalyst that brought me to make the decision to home educate, because I never had plans to do that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't either. Well, speaking of plans, like I use a planner. I know you're having issues with planners right now. So, and when I first started, it was hard to find a homeschool planner. You really had to look, and I ended up buying a homeschool planner from a homeschool resource. There used to be a homeschool resource store in the next town where we live, and I went there and found one, and I liked it a lot, and I bought it several years in a row until I couldn't find it anymore. They stopped making it. But now, like, you go on Etsy and they're like everywhere,
Yeah,
like
that's
digital
true.
downloads,
Yeah.
they're everywhere. Even like Erin Condren, the like big planner maker, like she makes like a homeschool planner thing that gets specific for homeschool. So what's your issue with planners right now?
Well, so I bought an expensive, it ended up being expensive.
They're not expensive they're not expensive from Etsy as a digital download, but once you print that, once you
It
get them
depends on
printed,
the vendor, really.
and everything, they can get expensive to get them
Yes.
printed.
The one I bought on Etsy when Solomon started Challenge A in CC, and I also want to say that me being in CC is not a plug for CC. I feel like I need to add that in.
It's a personal choice.
It is a personal choice.
Every community,
I'm not
whether you're
pushing
doing a
it.
co-op or
Right.
not, or a community, whatever you're
You'll
doing.
just hear me talk about it because that's what we do.
Right.
But I'm not pushing it. Just so you know, this is not like advertisement placement or anything like that. So anyway, so Solomon does Challenge A, which is the upper levels of CC, and
It would be considered seventh grade.
Yeah. And so I bought him I bought a digital download from somebody on Etsy, and it was beautiful. It was worth the $10. Like
Yeah.
the $10, I was fine paying $10 for it.
Yeah.
Then I went to Office Max and I bound it and everything. And so by the time I did all of that, I had spent a pretty penny on this thing. And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. Look at this beautiful planner, Solomon. Look how organized we can be. And my son was like, no. He's still telling me no about planners. And so that has been an ongoing problem with my oldest for going on. This is the third year now that he's like, Mom, I don't need a planner. The guide tells me what to do. And I said, but the guide doesn't tell you when to do it. You need to decide what day you're doing what. It's like going to a class at university, The professor will give you a syllabus. the professor doesn't tell you like how to work things into your schedule. He
Yeah.
just says, this is what we're doing. These are the
How to
due
section
dates.
it out.
Right. Like
Right.
you have to take the syllabus home and be like, okay, well, I have classes on these other days. I work these evenings. I have a party this Saturday. I need to figure out how to work this into my schedule. And so that's what the goal is, to train them to do that. But my son is just, he is his mother's child. And he's a rebel. He's rebelling against that
Rebelling
schedule.
against the planner.
He does
Yes.
not like it.
Yeah.
And my daughter Charlotte, though, she thrives on planning and organization, and she's like
she's her
Karina.
daddy's girl.
Yeah, she's like Karina. Like if she didn't come to me every day and say, "Mommy, can we do math now?" I don't know that I would do math with her every day.
Right.
I only do it because
She keeps you on schedule.
she does.
Yes.
She does.
Didn't you once say Charlotte like makes the lunches for everybody on Friday? Like she used to make
She
lunches.
did, yeah, on Thursday nights, yeah.
she would make lunches, or people wouldn't get
For
fed on
CC on Friday.
Community
Yeah.
Day if Charlotte didn't make lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. She likes doing it though.
Yeah.
But
Good to have a kid like that.
yeah. So for this year, this is Charlotte's first year in Challenge A, and I was able to find on CC's website a mom had created a Challenge A 2-page spread planner document that I loved. It was very simple. I loved it because it was just like the day of the week and the subjects, and then you just put in each box like what you need to do that day. And I loved it. It was very simple. It wasn't, a lot of those planners out there, even Erin Condren, like they're beautiful, but they can feel really overwhelming sometimes.
Busy.
And very busy.
Yeah.
And for like an ADHD person like me, the more stimuli I have, and my son, he's ADHD too. So like it's way too overwhelming. I can't deal with that. So I loved this plain black and white squares, and I just made a bunch of photocopies, and I have a Pro Click binder at home, and I just put for free, practically, I put Charlotte's together. I still don't have one for Solomon. And for myself, since I have a lot of kids, I'm educating and I have to manage, I did realize that this year, and I'm tutoring the language arts class at CC this year, and we're doing the podcast now. So I recognize that now I really need to start taking my daily and weekly schedule more seriously, and I'm going to have to start, even if I don't plan it out to the minute or the hour, I'm going to have to reserve blocks of time and
block
say,
it.
all right,
Yeah.
so today's Tuesday from 1 to 3, I'm going to work on,
Lesson plans
whatever.
or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to have to reserve that. So that's going to be a new challenge for
Yeah.
me. Still haven't, like I said, I still haven't found a planner for Solomon that I want to use. And I do like using my bullet journal because it's easier for me to get things done if it's just in a list form and it's not telling me when to do things. Because
Maybe that's why Solomon likes the guide, because it's just a list form
list.
and it doesn't tell
maybe
him
I
when.
should try to get him to do the bullet journal.
Maybe.
It can feel a little overwhelming when you're first learning how to use it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the video by the guy. It was a bit overwhelming.
Yes, that's really important. If you want to get into bullet journaling, do not watch all those fancy schmancy ones on YouTube and look at the ones on Pinterest. Go to the guy, I don't remember his name.
I don't remember
We can
his
put the
name
link
either.
down below.
Yeah.
But go to that guy. It was very
The original
simplistic.
guy.
The original guy
Just
who
the-
created it. It's
Just did the symbols
very,
and the dots and
very
yeah.
basic, and it's very simple, and there's no fluff, and it's
Yeah, you don't have to
awesome.
draw pictures
Nope.
and you have to do any of that
None
stuff.
of that.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I would add to that is that I do is I use a pencil when I plan because
Plans change.
plans change. And,
Life happens.
and lessons shift. And I don't know how many times, I've raced and moved all the lessons over several days because, stuff happens. And you just have to be flexible in that way.
Yes. If COVID has taught you anything this year, it's how to be flexible.
And how to not get things done.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
I'll find everything to do. I found this shirt that says, I'm not procrastinating. I'm doing side quests, and I really need that shirt in my life because
That's what you're doing.
that's what I'm doing. I'm
Yep.
not procrastinating. I'm just doing other side quests.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember to embrace the Blurst life.